Hello and welcome guys, hope you are doing great. Today we're going to talk about a very useful plugin called Real-Time Custom Cabinetry System, aka RCCS. Now guys, normally for setting cabinets and closets in areas such as kitchens or some rooms or basically anywhere else, from components you need to open up load family. Then for example from the case work folder you can select some families and cabinets to work with. Now, you need to load these one by one. They might also need modifications. You need to work on their designs and placements. And in some cases, you might have to create the families from the scratch. So my point is, you might need to do a lot, and this plugin kind of made it all easier. Now, first off, you can get this plugin from Autodesk App Store. You can see their website's address here. You can just click on this address, this link, and try to download or just get this plugin directly from the website. Also, some useful information are provided regarding the plugin here, as well as some visual aids and instructions and demos. You can check these out. And to be honest, this plugin could be extremely useful, guys, for interior designing. Now, when we download and install the plugin, guys, its tab would be added to Revit. Oh, and by the way, guys, currently I'm using the light version. I mean, it is kind of a simplified version. And we also have a pro version, which is a monetary one. I mean, you need to buy it. And it has more items, features, and options. And it's very professional. Oh, well, sometimes this light version will do. I mean, it could be enough. To be honest, it could help us plenty. All right. Now, let's see how we can use this plugin and actually what we can do with it. First off, guys, the items in this plugin are quite complete, so for applying modifications and settings, you can just use its own item. So, what I'm going to do, I would be using some walls in order to create some sort of a room, like a space. 4 meters, 450. And then 3 meters here. Alright, this will do, guys. Let's say this is a space that we can consider as some sort of a kitchen, right? You know what? I'm going to add a window here as well. 1 meter. All right, for the width, we have 1400. It's good. Height, 1600. Okay, guys. Now, let's say we want to set or add some cabinets in these areas. Now, take a look at this, guys. In this plugin, we have access to some lines, some reference lines, if you will, and we can actually use these references for setting the required grids. This is not a necessity, though. I mean, you can just start with setting the grids. And well, this is exactly what I'm going to do, actually. I'm going to start with setting some section lines, both horizontally and vertically. And by the way, I'm setting the section lines in the areas where I want to set the cabinets. Okay, now I'm going to set the scale on 1/50th, detail level on fine. And now I'm going to click on wall up here, and immediately afterwards, a box would be added for me. And I can use the box as the base for my work. Now, our space is a U shape, so I'm going to remove this edge. I'm going to move these walls into the space. Then I'm going to select the section lines. Say I don't want to see the scales higher than 1/25th. Now, I need to start applying some adjustments and modifications on the walls. I'm going to begin with aligning the edges here with these references. Next up, I'm going to use trim single element to trim these parts. And then I'm going to enter the 3D view. Basically, guys, now I got this curtain wall, which would be the base for my work. Now, I'm going to hide these levels, set my scale on 150, and then detail level on fine. Now, once again, I'm going to open up my plan, and then press W2 to get a tile view. Now, I need to enter the first section. First, we need to specify a height for our work, a height for our cabinets. As an example, I'm going to select these parts and set my height on 2140. Okay. How about this up to the second level? Okay, seems fine, I guess. Now I'm going to set this one on 3600. Okay, this will do. Next up, guys, we need to start setting the grids in a way that somehow shows the primary design that we want for our cabinets. So I'm going to enter RCCS and select grids. By the way, guys, this is exactly the same as curtain grids. I'm going to begin with setting this all segment grid here. Say this is the lower cabinet, so for its height, I'm going to go with 800. Then I need a countertop for this cabinet. For its thickness, I'm going to go with 40. Then I need a gap here, a space, say like 60 cm. And then the upper cabinets. You know what, I guess we can actually increase the height here. So I'm going to select these and set the height on, well, 3 meters. Let me just make it simple. Yeah, now we have more elbow room to work here. Like, I'm going to set the space here on 70 cm. And you know what? Now that I think about this, I guess 3 meters is too much. Let me reduce it a bit. Give me like 2.60. Okay, let's get on with setting the rest of the grids now. As I said, here I want to have some sort of a gap, like the finishing wall would be displayed here. And for creating this gap, there's an item that I can use called void. So I'm just going to set this void right in the part that I want to have the gap. By the way, guys, up here we have two very important options, single and global, and then there's the data entry segment. Here we would enter the values I want to use for the dimensions. So for now, I'm just going to go with 600. Then I'm going to go ahead and select one segment grid because I want to work on the interior segments. So I'm going to start adding some vertical segments like this. For example, let's say the stove goes here. Then another cabinet next to it. And then maybe another segment for let's say the dishwasher goes here. And then a larger cabinet next to it. And you know what? Here at this part, I'm going to try to change my form. Like some sort of a standing segment, a standing cabinet. So I'm just going to use add remove to create such a segment. Surely you've seen such segments, such cabinets in kitchens, guys. For example, where we would set the fridges. Okay. Now, let's try working on the dimensions a bit more precisely. For example, for the depth here, I'm going to go with 500. Then 1 meter. Then here, I'm going to go with like 600, I guess. By the way, guys, my unit system is on millimeters. Then 700. Oh, and I need another one. You know what? I'm going to set this on 700 as well. All right, we got the design for the lower cabinets. Now for the upper ones. For the first segment, I'm just going to continue this grid. I'm going to do the same for the second one. Then I need a one segment grid again, a horizontal one actually, above the stove. I mean, where we would set the hood. So in fact, we need a void here. Let me set my void. There we go. But above it, above the hood, we would have another cabinet. Now guys, for the upper segments, we can actually use the lower segments, the lower grids, to make sure that the segments or the cabinets are aligned in both the lower side and the upper side. Alright guys, that'll do for the first section. Let's enter the second one where we got the window. Now, like before, I'm going to begin with setting a couple of all segment grids first. I mean, for both the lower cabinets and their countertop. Now, again, we need to start specifying the dimensions. We can actually use a line. More precisely, we can align the new segments with the ones that we already created. And just like grid, guys, the align command that we have here in RCCS is exactly the same as what we have in Revit. I mean, the default align item that we have in Revit. Okay, so we got the alignment. Now, I'm not going to add anything above the window, maybe just some segments to its sides. So I'll be using one segment like this. Its dimension 750. Then next up, I'm going to use one segment again to create a horizontal one. To have some sort of a shelf here. Give me like 700 to make it aligned with what we have here. You know what? I don't want a shelf. I'm actually gonna add a void here. And obviously I need a void here as well, where we got the window. Okay, now we need to complete the lower cabinets that we got underneath the window. So again, I'll be using one segment grids. Let me just try to find a good place for this. Maybe here. And then another here. You know what? No, Control Z. Just going to continue this vertical grid. Now, for the dimension that we have on this side, I'm going to go with 600. Okay, this will do for the second section. Moving on to the third one. And I know we already have a standing cabinet, but I'm actually going to create another one, and we're going to use this one for the fridge. So I'm going to use an all segment vertical grid. For example, right about here. And then maybe some shelves next to the fridge. Now, I obviously need a void, so I'm going to set it right here. So on this side, I'm going to create the shelves. As for the dimensions, give me 1500. And then 200 of gap in between the segments. And you know what? Enough. Let me close these. Only give me 3D. Basically, this is the result. Let me set my display mode on shaded. Now, we got our primary design, the primary sketches. We need to convert this whole thing into a kitchen now. First, I need to apply a bit of transparency to the walls. Like 60% of transparency. And then also a bright color like this. I'm going to open up the graphical display options. Give me smooth lines. And also show me the edges. Alright, now let's complete our cabinets, guys. If you recall a few minutes ago, I said that we have two options here, single and global. Through global, the modifications would be applied on all the items, and single, only the selected item. First, I'm going to go with global. For the depth, I'm going to go with 600 for now. We might need to edit this later. Now, take a look at this, guys. Here we have make. This is in fact a list from which we can choose a cabinetry system. For example, I'm going to go with this for now, cabinetry modern. And what's going to happen here is that based on our segments and our designs, automatically a cabinetry system would be created and set for us. Now, the process might actually take some time to be done. And how long? Well, it actually depends on your system that you're using and also your design and the dimensions of your space. So wait for it. Here we go, guys. We got the cabinets, but remember, this is a primary form. We need to customize these. So let's see how exactly we can do that. First, I'm going to check the depth that I have here. 470. How about this one? 450. Now, for modify, here I have depth. Or, you know what, let me change my option first. I'm going to go with single. And then for the value, I'm going to go with 630. Now, from modify, I'm going to select depth. I need to apply this depth on the countertop, so I'm going to click on them. I'm going to modify this later. Okay, good. I'm going to change my value now to 600. And then start working on the lower cabinets. Let's begin with working on our cabinets doors. As you can see, we can select the one that I want from this panel. As an example, I'm going to select a double door for the lower cabinets here. Now, if I click on the item, not only the door would be set here, but also the form of the cabinet would change as well, according to the depth that we specified. See? It's quite simple. Okay, I guess that would be enough for this part now. What I'm going to do would be entering the first section. What I'm going to do would be selecting one segment grid again. I could have done this before, I just forgot. Anyway, I need to add some segments here. And this time it might take some time because we have some 3D cabinets and some sort of a conversion should happen. So just wait for it. All right, all done. Let me check this in 3D. We need a bit of alignment. So I'm going to add these dimensions here and then equalize them. And now remove. Delete and constrain. Okay, good. Back to 3D. Basically, I've got some horizontal segments which I'm going to use for setting some drawers. Like this. Now, if you recall, guys, I said that I want to have a dishwashing machine, for example here. Now, we have a family for it, so here I'm going to select it and put it here. Okay, good. We can also use or set a laundry machine here as well. Unfortunately, we don't have that family in the light version. So let's just improvise. I'm going to use another dishwashing machine here. And then I'm going to change the family later on. Or you know what, guys? We can actually do something else. We can just set a void here and then fill the void up later on with a family, like a laundry machine. Now, let's see what we have on this side, the fridge. So I need to enter the third section. Okay, I'm going to select this. And as for the dimension, give me like 1 meter. Oh, you know what, guys? Why this? Let me do something else. Let me just reduce the length in the wall. Like, give me 250. 2500 millimeters. Now, I'm going to move this edge towards left. All right, now let's check the width. Got 1 meter. Good. Back to 3D. As I said, we're going to set the fridge here. So for the depth, give me 650. Then I'm going to select a fridge and set it here. Okay, not bad. Now we need to change the depth and the shelves that we have here. I'm going to go with 600. And I'm going to click on the shelves. Done. All right, now let's try adding some more detail to this whole thing. Like, for example, we can add an ice maker to the fridge. Like this. Good. Let's see what else we can do. Maybe adding a sink. This is a kitchen after all, so yeah, we need a sink. I set it here. And by the way, guys, as you can see, the items are being set here quite easily. We don't really need to do anything extra, like working on no cuts, no voids or anything. All right, the next item that I'm going to add here would be a stove. Let's set it right about here. See, guys? Very simple, very fast, and honestly, quite accurate. Oh, guys, I just saw something. If you recall, we were supposed to have a void next to the window, but we don't have it. So let me try setting it one more time. It's not a difficult task. Done. Now, for this part, first I need to specify the depth that I want, 600. And then for the cabinet, I'm going to go with something like this. Not bad. Alright guys, now let's try applying some further modifications. For example, let's say for any reason, I don't really like this handle. So let's try changing it then. For that, we have a list here, guys. See? All the cabinet handles, guys. And remember, if you go with global, the handles in all the cabinets would change. You know what, let's test that idea. I'm going to set this on 50. And then, I'm going to select this, for example. Now, one more time, guys, because I've gone with global option, the type that I selected for the handle would be applied on all the items, on all the cabinets. And if I were to go with single, only my selected item would have been changed. Here we go. I'll say I want only these 3 to change. So I'm going to set this on single, value on 100. I'm going to select the type that I want, and then click on the items one by one. To be honest, guys, this is as convenient as it gets. Yeah, this plugin is truly awesome, guys. Let me try another type now. Maybe this arc-shaped one. 150. And now I'm going to click on these drawers. So basically, guys, in less than 20 minutes, we designed a kitchen for ourselves. And we still have more to talk about, like we got way more features, items, and options up here. But this is a very user-friendly plugin, so you can check them yourselves and understand them completely. Alright, so everyone, that will be all for today's episode. Hope you all enjoyed everything. See you guys next time. Good luck.